Hey guys, it's Frenchie with Permaculture Northeast. As you remember, we're doing a Ruth Stout bed this year. Kind of a garden bed with just hay. And so far, we've been growing potatoes in that bed, and last we knew, they had just sprouted above the hay. Well, I wanted to do an update video for you guys, and also show you a little bit of an experiment that we're going to do here on the farm to test to see if we can grow even greater yields of potatoes. So let's get started and see how things are going over at the Ruth Stout bed. And there it is. There's our Ruth Stout bed. The potatoes are growing up tremendously. I just recently hand-scythed some more hay. I'm putting the old hay around the potatoes a little bit and smothering some weeds. So our experiment actually starts with a pepper plant, surprisingly enough. Now peppers, potatoes, and tomatoes are all in the nightshade family. They're all related. And here we have a little Carolina Reaper hot pepper plant. And what we're doing is when the pepper plant's about that tall, it hasn't grown much since we planted it. So far, it's still early in the season. We break off the first 2 to 4 leaves, and instead of a pepper plant growing up, it turns more into a pepper bush. Now that happened last year with our habanero peppers and our ghost peppers, and we got tremendous yields. Now, same thing will happen with tomato plants. If you break off the top, it'll turn more into a bush. Some people like that, some people don't, and there's pros and cons. Now, what we're going to be trying to do, or what we're going to try to do, is do that with potatoes. Now, the reason we would do that is there's kind of a fallacy going out there. There's an idea of potato towers. And guys, really it's a bad idea. Potato towers are a horrible idea. And here's why. So you have a potato plant, and the theory is as the potato plant's growing up, you add more and more dirt. So as you add the dirt, the roots then grow out, and you end up getting this tower. It could be in a grow bag, is usually where people do it, or however you do it. And as this tower grows up, your roots are growing out as you're adding more dirt, and certain varieties of potatoes then will produce potatoes in that tower. And people say, oh, well then you have a whole tower of potatoes where you normally would have a little ground area of potatoes. But that's really not true. And the reason is, you would still have this amount of greenery now trying to feed the entire root system. Dirt doesn't grow potatoes. Greenery grows potatoes. You know, it uses energy from the sun sent down to the roots to build those potatoes. So people who do potato towers always end up getting teeny tiny little potatoes because they only had so much greenery. So then, if greenery determines the size of your potatoes, our thought is if we break off the tip top of all these potato plants and cause them to bush out versus staying a single stalked plant, we'll have more greenery, and hopefully that'll translate into more potatoes when it comes time to send the energy down. Now, we're not going to do this with all of our potatoes because then we'll never know how our yields would have been otherwise. So we're going to do kind of a trial experiment where this grow bed here, as you can tell, it goes around and then up again as kind of our path goes serpentine through. All potatoes this side of the garden are going to be cut off at the top, and all potatoes on that side of the garden are going to be left whole. And so we're going to do that. As you can see, I already started earlier today of cutting off the top of the potato plants as opposed to here, leaving it whole. And we're going to see how it turns out. At the end of the season, we'll be able to come through and, as we dig up the potatoes, see which way yielded the most. And so right here, I'll just do it by hand because one hand's holding the camera. I'm just going to take the tip top, and actually, you can even see here, the potatoes are starting to send out little flowers. But we don't want those because they'll take energy away from the potatoes. we'll just break it off right up top, and that actually, the top of the plant produces a hormone called auxin, AUXIN, that inhibits, this growth hormone inhibits all the lateral growth on the potato plant. So this little node right here, that shoot does not shoot out because of a hormone produced in the top of the potato plant. When you break off the top, there's no more hormone produced, and so all the lateral shoots start to branch out. And so I'm going to go through and finish kind of this row of potatoes and cut them off, and we'll see how things go. But again, as you can see, general update for our Ruth Stout bed. Again, you're not really seeing many weeds. We do have the violets coming through, but I found out the violets are edible, so I'll eat them. And every now and then we have a thing of grass come through, and it's super easy to pull. And so again, I spend less than 5 minutes out here every 2-3 days maintaining it. And so that's less than 2 hours a month, if I'm doing my math right. So that's our update. We'll keep you guys posted as things go on. Thanks for checking us out.